Hello, world. Happy, very auspicious, energetic day. It is officially Pluto in Aquarius, and I'm here with my dear friend, Darryl Walker Glasner. And I wouldn't want to be with anybody else today.
How you doing, Alyson? Good morning.
Good morning. I'm great. I have
So
been
am I.
great
I'm
for like a
excited.
week.
You know,
I'm so excited for this.
I
I
had
got my
sm
alien shirt on. I'm ready to
oh, I
rock.
love it. Well, I've got my Madonna and, the greatest baseball team in the world. My home, Los Angeles Dodgers.
As you should gloat. It's they had a great year.
Yes.
So what's happening today?
Oh, just that little thing up in the sky, that debate whether or not it's a planet or not.
Right.
Pluto. Pluto finally, fair and square, moves into Aquarius after sort of dilly-dallying over the last year, the last degrees of Capricorn. Then it moved in for a hot second, then it moved back. So now we may begin. Pluto has moved to
Yes.
Aquarius, fair and square, and unfortunately, there's a lot of misinformation about it.
Yes.
This outer planet is happening in an outer planet sign. Aquarius is ruled by Uranus. So this transcends sun sign. It always does, of course.
Yeah.
If you really want to know what's going on, have your chart done, because boxing yourself in to your sun sign is such limitation, and
Absolutely.
and really harnesses your growth in every aspect of your life. Uh, that said, Pluto moving into Aquarius, rightfully so, has been at the forefront of the news in astrology. But I feel strongly that there's so much misinformation, again, that, for the last 15 years that it was in Capricorn, that the only ones going through challenges or transformation were Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. So I look at you as a dear friend and know that look at my clients, and
And
life
no
is
cakewalk for me. I don't have any placements there.
right,
No one is having a cakewalk right now.
right.
Let's be honest.
But Pluto has formed a relationship with your chart. In fact, now that it's moved into Aquarius, in a couple of years, it will be sitting at the epicenter of your chart, the very beginning. At the same time, being a third decan Leo, meaning, each sun sign, because there are 30 degrees, and everyone, please, astrology is a science. It's a spiritual science. Let's adhere to both
Yep.
the intuitive and the cerebral, the science.
Yes.
30 degrees, 3 decans, 10, 20, 30. Alyson is at 18 degrees at the very last decan, at the very last part of the second decan, which means that she won't feel Pluto forming a relationship with her sun for another 12 to 14 years. I want to be clear to all my Leos out there who've been frightened by the misinformation that were born, especially from August 3rd to August 22nd. You're not going to feel this on your sun. Now, perhaps you may have a Taurus moon, or you may very well have a Scorpio rising, and yes, but then again, I'm going to feel it. It's going to sit on my Jupiter. It's going to it's going to aspect my midheaven. So
We're all under the same
we're all
sky.
under the same sky.
And stop listening to bullshit on TikTok.
Please, because it's dangerous.
Please.
Alyson, it's dangerous.
It is.
I mean, I look at TikTok and I see this misinformation. It would be as if Mike Tomlin was pushed aside and some rinky-dink armchair quarterback takes over to
Yeah.
lead the team.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It is crazy. And you and I were talking about that as we were sending each other things and DMing. And I think the thing that is so, so, so important, and I try to talk about this every single time I get on camera, it is an inside job. Please stop giving your power away to everyone else. You're going to hear all sorts of things from the collective, including this Pluto and Aquarius. Do not believe everything you hear. If you think that this is going to be the best thing ever for you, why do you feel that way? If you think this is going to end your life, why do you feel that way? What is it inside of you that needs to be dealt with so you could move forward? Because the bottom line is, with any of these big energetic shifts, and we're going to talk about Pluto as an energy.
Yes.
Are you prepared to handle whatever comes your way? That's really the question you need to be asking yourself today.
But
It doesn't matter what it is.
yes, at the core of astrology is governed by the planet Uranus, Aquarius.
Yep.
It says, this is your chart.
Yes.
How you play it is with awareness and free will.
Yep. Amen. And I think it's important. Go ahead.
How are these fixed signs that everyone's talking about?
Yeah.
How is the Taurus? How is the Leo? How is the Scorpio? How is the Aquarius? Are they supposed to put their heads in the sand and just no? Yes, diamonds are made through force.
Yeah.
Pluto is the most powerful energy in the universe.
Yep.
And where you have fixed energy in your chart, forget the sun signs. Everyone has some aspect of fixed energy in their chart. That's why it is critical that you get your chart done, to understand where that Plutonian energy, that opportunity, not for change, but for profound transformation. Yeah. Again, Pluto and Aquarius, a higher octave of the mind, higher consciousness, science, technology,
yep,
but also spirituality and freedom.
Yes.
And being awakened.
Yep.
We all have to, Pluto is the truth. And the truth for all of us can be very inconvenient.
Yes. That's the biggest thing I wanted to talk about today, because
and the thing is that Pluto.
Let's talk about that.
Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. It's the truth. Yep. And the truth can be so inconvenient, but ultimately, that's what I love about a Scorpio energy and an Aquarius environment.
Right. It's a beautiful balance.
The truth will set you free.
Exactly. Amen. I'm so glad you said that, because when you and I decided to do this today, I wanted to make sure that that was the biggest message. Because think about everything that we have seen over these last few years since COVID, the unveiling and the unmasking and all of the things that we haven't wanted to look at, whether that's outer, whether that's inner. I went through horrible dark nights of the soul over the past couple of years. And I looked at pieces of myself that I never wanted to see. And we are going to continue to be challenged as a planet Earth. I don't give a shit where you live, what you do, what you look like. We are all going to be challenged with truths, both inner and outer, that we are not even going to believe are possible. That is what this next 20 years is going to be about.
2044. But I really feel the kickoff will be towards the end of 2025, 2026, when Uranus, the ruler of Aquarius, moves in to Gemini and forms a very harmonious energy that will allow a very fixed energy to let go.
To be open. So let's talk about some of these practicalities, right? There's all this bullshit about, is Pluto a planet? Is Pluto not a planet? We're going to debunk that right now. Who cares?
It's up in the sky. It's an energy.
Yeah, you can believe whatever you want to believe. We're not telling anybody what to believe. It is one of the strongest energies that exist
Well, look how
for
it's
us
played.
living on planet Earth.
You know, through thousands of years of study, astrology, looking up at the sky,
Yep.
transcending the
Yep.
fear from religion, because every religion looks up at the sky and defines
Yep.
their holy days, whether it's
Yep.
Christianity, Judaism, or Islam.
Yep.
Or look up there. It will
Right.
give you direction.
And it's there. You can,
But of
it's
course,
far out, but it's very far out,
yes,
which
but
means this revolution that it's taken to come back,
yes,
right, is 250 something years.
yes. Well, absolutely. That's why the revolution we have in our personal charts,
Right.
is a birthday, because the sun goes around every 12 months. Mars, the planet of me, I want.
Yeah.
2 years. What happens when we're two? The terrible twos. Mommy, I want. We stomp our feet. And then we go a Jupiter cycle, 12 years. Saturn, 27 years. Those are very pointed times. And when they make aspects in their charts, they define moments of progression and maturity. What happens when we're 6 and 7? Saturn, for the first time, is 90 degrees away from where it was at birth, creating a challenge to leave mommy and daddy and start to exist in the outer world. That's all Saturn wants, us to have a home base and to understand maturity and time. 13 and 14, 21, 22, 27, 28. I mean, when you step back and look at how beautiful the universe is, it's us that are singing off, out of key. Or
The universe is perfect
the universe is perfect.
with all of this.
The way the planets orbit, the retrograde of Mercury, the ability to come back, the correction course. It's us with not being aware. But when we're aware, we start dancing to the beat of our beautiful handprint, our chart. And that's what I love so much about what I do and my work with astrology, is getting people to see their beautiful composition. To me, it's musical. I mean, I love music. I love film. And to me, it's such a composition. And how perfect the universe and how orchestrated it is. But astrology allows us, again, to dance to the beat, to sing in the keys of life, right?
Yeah.
So,
and I think for people out there that are fearful, today is going to bring a lot of fear to people, especially if they don't even know that any of this is happening and they just don't have a sense. There will be a lot of energy. There's a lot of energy today, right?
Yeah, we're in the shadow of Mercury retrograde. Mars is about
there's
to go retrograde.
So many other things happening.
Neptune is dancing in its last act at home in Pisces. Let me tell you something. This is the best time to be alive.
Yeah.
So the Chicken Little act has got to stop.
Yeah.
Our eyes should be burning.
Absolutely. And it is up to everyone that is having this experience as to whether they are going to make something of this time or let this time take them out. Because it's up to you. The universe, the YO universe, right, is your experience. We're all directing our own movie. If you are scared about this and you understand a little bit about what's going on, get your chart read. Stop living in questionable energy.
Can you imagine falling back on every challenge in your life and saying, well, I'm a woman. Nah.
Yeah, and just, no. And not really even having a sense of, no, I cannot.
Sun sign astrology puts people in a census box. Yeah. Ultimately, Pluto in Aquarius, let me be very clear, is going to smash census boxes to smithereens. And you can quote me on that.
I'm
So
so excited about that.
there won't be any of that
No,
in by the end of its
the
transit
20
into
years.
Aquarius.
Our
There
world,
will be no
no,
synthesis.
no, our world is even by the end of 2027,
Yes,
which we know how quickly time is passing right now.
like that,
I believe
like
it's going to
that.
be by 2030, every single thing that we do will be unrecognizable. You and I will not be talking over Riverside. We will
That's
not be going on the internet the way that we're doing. We will not be banking the way that we're banking. We are not going to be operating with the same borders that we're operating with
and
right now. And I believe that.
we'll be living longer.
Yeah. Yep.
Is it a learning curve? Absolutely. Are
Yep.
there challenges before us? Absolutely.
Of course.
There is such breakthrough. There's no looking back. This is the best time, and I am not a foolish optimist. The best is on its way.
Yeah. This is not working.
It's not.
This is not working. And I think for me, I have an Aquarius rising. And I'm not saying that's anything having to do with Pluto and Aquarius. I mean, of course, there's energies
No, it
there.
does. Come on. Pluto moving into Aquarius really
Yeah.
solidifies what began in the 60s. Pluto
Right.
Uranus, like back to Pluto,
Exactly.
civil rights, women's rights, human rights, the
Yep. Sexual
decolonism,
revolution,
all of it. All
all
of
of
it.
it. We are for people that either want to take things backwards or
Well, we're fighting that.
think they can,
we're
right?
fighting that.
Good luck.
Right. We're
Good luck.
fighting.
And I'm
We're-
not even saying whatever people believe.
Right.
The transformation is here.
Because
And you have a choice now. You can either flow
Mhm,
or you
mhm.
can swim upstream. It's up to you.
We are all active participants under this sheltering sky. And
Yep.
astrology, first and foremost, gives us awareness. It comes back. Yes, this was the card that was dealt me. How I play it is free will.
It's up to you.
Free will with understanding.
Yeah.
And we are going to have such understanding, specifically, as you said, in this window of 2.5 years, 3 years.
Oh my God. The unmasking that has existed and all of the things that we didn't want to see, both internally, externally, there is no more hiding. And if you are someone that loves change and loves and has an idea of a higher world, yes, this is your time. That's me.
And it's also, selfishly, it's me too. I was born
Yes.
with the planet Uranus.
Yep.
And the moon and the North Node with Mars and Pluto right behind.
Yep.
At the beginning of my chart. Hence, not to be braggadocious, but gives me ability to understand.
Yep. Yep.
The ruler, Sun in the 11th, Mercury in the 11th.
Yeah.
So I will pat myself on the back. I feel that I want to be a participant in bringing astrology back to a spiritual science.
And you are. You're not want to be. This is what you've been doing. And now it's the time for it to be bigger.
Hearts and minds.
Exactly. And bringing the two together. So if you're somebody that doesn't like change, is very stressed out about transformation, I would highly recommend that you seek whatever it is you need to seek to work through that. Because if you're someone that just digs your heels in and doesn't want anything to be different, you're going to suffer through this time. That's just the bottom line. And I'm not saying that to make anybody afraid, but that's the person and the people that I get most nervous about during this time, because you gotta flow. You gotta flow. You have to roll with the changes, roll with the transformation.
Well, Alyson, that's the challenge for the collective energy.
Yep.
Because Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. That's a fixed energy.
Yep.
Aquarius, ruled by Uranus, is fixed. Fixed is a beautiful energy. The challenge is knowing when to let go. Coming back to how beautifully orchestrated the universe is. Uh, just because these terms are thrown out there, you know, cardinal, fixed, mutable.
Right.
What does that mean? It's the beauty of the universe. Look how beautifully constructed the universe is.
Yeah.
We start with cardinal. We start with Aries, the beginning. Then we have Taurus, fixed. We tell the child, no, 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 sit with this. But then the child matures. Gemini comes along and says, you got to let go. Throw this up. Let's try a couple of things.
Yep.
Then we come back to that pioneering, pragmatic spirit of Cancer. We start, then we go to Leo. We sit with it, sometimes too much with our ego. And then Virgo comes along and says, let's throw it up in the air. Then Libra comes along. It's time to start something. Scorpio comes along and says, really, I can't let go. And then Sag says, you better, let's reach for the stars. Let's throw it up. Then Capricorn comes and says, you've been a sloppy child, Sagittarius. Let's start. Then
Get your
Aquarius,
shit together.
then Aquarius, then Aquarius comes by and says, I'm a genius. I'm I'm going to sit with this and make it better. Then Pisces comes along and says, okay, smarty pants, you better connect with the divine. You
Yeah.
better, I respect that high IQ, but you gotta touch the limitlessness of God, whatever God is in our belief system. Even if you're
Yeah.
an atheist, goodness, the
Yeah.
spirit of light, and letting go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's beautiful. I don't think I've ever heard you say that, but I hope that people
I have a
understand.
crazy way of, I hope
But
they
no,
get,
it's beautiful because think about the beauty. Again, this word flow keeps coming back, and it's just you could either be taken out or you can just let go and float,
but
right?
then people, I get it. It's the same. We met in a spin class. My approach to music and spinning,
Yeah. Yeah.
people want it to be, I get it. It
Right.
was a very upper middle class environment, and people were used to, in their corporate jobs, of
Yep.
limitation.
Yep.
But I walked in with the limits, but at the heart of the class was limitless. And
Yep.
that's what collectively we all have to manifest. Accept that 1 and 1 equals 2. It always will. But
Right.
once you've done all you can, you must let go
You have
and
to
be,
let go.
and be limitless,
Right.
especially if you've done it with honor and integrity. And that's
That'll
what,
be very big in this time.
but that's what our charts, you know, full disclosure, when I started, you know, studying astrology, I perhaps was probably an atheist because I was so disenchanted with traditional cultish religion. And that, I don't want to offend anyone. But
It's your experience. It's okay.
astrology brought me back to spirituality because it's a very moral compass. Let's be very clear. 80% of astrology, of our birth chart, is about following and walking the chalk line, maturing, progressing, learning, giving opportunities to have second chances and third chances. But ultimately, in the end, we all want, so many of us want to skip those steps and say, God, universe, save me. That's why that last piece can either be the divine or the devil, the addict or the savior, the welfare case or the social worker. Makes sense?
Yeah, I think what's coming up for me when and you talk about limits and limitlessness. It's a
Yes.
mouthful.
Limitless. Limitless.
Yeah, I think we have these structures that we live in. We have certain norms in our society, which by the way are going to shift dramatically by 2030. Dramatically. But we are still going to have a certain set of ideals, a certain set of boundaries, a certain set of limits that we're all going to agree on. However, those are going to be very pushed, and we're already seeing that now,
Yes.
right? So the question is, can you fulfill your purpose? Can you serve? Can you do all of the things that you came back to this life to do within those constructs? That is the energy. That is the piece that feels sometimes constricting or scary or whatever, right? In this time of great transformation and death and rebirth and lightning in a bottle shit that's going to happen and things that we're not even going to be able to mentally wrap our head around, which by the way is already happening, right? Think about what happened just in 2024. Are you able to center yourself and continue to move forward?
Well, it's there's no option. Either
Yeah.
either we're going to, it's that Caroline or change. No, seriously. It's
Yeah.
either we stay in the past or we move forward.
And I believe, and this is something that, people might think I'm nuts and I don't really care, but I believe there was a massive, massive shift and a split on the planet in 2020. And it probably occurred before, but that was the first time I had ever witnessed it. I bared witness to it, the fear and love.
22 degrees Capricorn. A very powerful, very, very powerful degree of Capricorn. That's where Pluto was in 2020. And
Oh.
it was aspecting a lot of world charts,
Yeah, of
especially
course.
where
Look what happened.
on the soil where we are, the United States. It activated that 1776.
Right.
There you have it.
Look at what's happening.
Look what's happening.
So much polarization. And we
where's
get
the
to
United
decide.
States? Yeah, where's the
Right.
United States moon in Aquarius? What's its rising? Sagittarius. The idea of freedom, the idea of higher consciousness. The Cancer sun, which is important because it's foundation,
Right.
respect for tradition,
Right.
patriotism. However, again, the idea of freedom has to be manifest now.
Yeah.
And
For everyone.
And it's not a matter of politics.
No.
It transcends that because we're all participants and
It's humanity.
we're all sort of complicit in our behavior.
Yeah. The universe is perfect. It's God. It's one. We're all part of it.
Absolutely.
That's very Aquarian.
Yeah. I'm really, there's the thought that the Aquarian age is, the age of Aquarius is starting now. I disagree. I know that it started in 1960, between 59 and 60, 61, when there was this collective energy where you had the decolonization of Africa, of India. You had human rights like never before.
Things shifted exponentially. And I mean, Pluto, these are thousands of years. So we're living Pluto, to see a...
Pluto and Uranus was forming a relationship in the sky. What's going to happen next year? Pluto and Uranus is going to form a relationship in the sky.
Next year is going to be wild. I'm here for it. This shit ain't working for 99% of us.
I know, because you know what I always say, you can't fight a tidal wave, kiddo.
Nope. And that goes back to the flow.
That's right. Even during the most challenging times, so many of us want to dig our heels in.
Yep.
It was unfortunate when Pluto and Saturn formed a relationship in 2001. What happened? September 11th.
Yep.
What happened when it formed a relationship in 2020? The COVID crisis.
Yep.
Look back historically on how Pluto has played out, especially in our parents, our grandparents, and our great-parents' lives, because that's more clear to us. We can see what happened in 1933. We can see what happened in 1939. We can
Right.
see what happened in 19.
These 20-year cycles is what you're
Yes.
talking about
Yeah.
of Pluto, and how big the energetic impact is
Yes.
on our planet.
Yes. Yes. Well, sometimes, the planets are interesting. The orbits change.
Yeah.
And not to confuse your listeners. But that's why when people say, oh, my birthday's today, when in fact that exact moment, it is a science. Sometimes that exact moment of birth is the day before or the day after, and it's a different time.
You always tell me exactly what
It's
time.
a science.
I have you.
It's precession corrected.
Yeah.
That's why when someday I won't get upset, but I remember, and I can't recall the exact name, but someone had died the day before their birth date, but they actually had died on that moment of birth. So their age really was 70, but the obituary said 69.
That's 69.
And I'm sitting, no, but I
And
didn't
that's such
come
a
up
big
with.
deal to die on the same moment of your birth.
Well,
Talk about a plan.
yeah,
It's crazy.
yeah.
I'm sure it happens more than people realize.
Oh, a lot. It happens a lot. Or your half
Yeah.
birthday, but not to get up there in the clouds. There's only continuance. There isn't death.
Right. Exactly.
But that's
So
another.
that's a whole other thing we could do.
But
What do you
you're
want to
excited?
leave people with? Oh, I'm so excited. I can't wait for this. I have been waiting for transformation. This is why I came back. I came back for this time.
Absolutely.
I feel like my life has just begun over the last few months. I do.
I want to leave everyone with not hope, but will. Because remember, Pluto by nature is ruled by Scorpio. Scorpio is willpower, not hope.
Yep.
So I will for the collective understanding, stepping into this higher consciousness and letting go, myself included. This has been a difficult couple of years for both of us, Alyson, but it's also been a wonderful time. And
I'm a totally different person. So are you. We
yes,
walked through
absolutely.
fire.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I look forward to loving more, being of service more, and just living. Because life is meant to be lived. And regardless of our belief systems, I can't hide behind astrology. I must use it as a guide, but we must live our life. And to say this Chicken Little motif of Mercury's going retrograde, oh no.
Those times are over.
Yeah.
Those times are over. I love what you said. It is the will.
It's the
What
will.
I want for people to find in these next 20 years is a power, a self power.
Willpower.
Yeah, because it is an inside job and we can make it through anything we decide to make it through. We have everything inside of us to make it through these times. We all decided to come back. I believe that wholeheartedly. And it is time to see what we're really made of and to see what we can make of this world.
I also, yes, that's it. Make of this world by being of service.
Yep.
Remember, it's opposite of Leo. So we've got to get out of our way and look across the aisle, offer a hand to lift up, not to look down.
The days of oppression are over. It's time to come together.
Because this may sound sort of nefarious, but we're going to need each other in the same way that down at 33 Liberty on September 11th, there were no census boxes. All we saw was humanity helping each other on the Brooklyn Bridge, up church. Even though I was out in Los Angeles, I sat there and I could feel it because, you know, my first job was at the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
And I said, we are one.
Yep.
And that really is the heartbeat of Pluto and Aquarius.
Yeah.
We are one. We can't fall back on, I'm a Capricorn. I'm a Gemini. I'm a Leo. Yeah. Really? Okay.
Right. Well, thank you so much. These words
Thank
were
you.
beautiful.
This was
And
wonderful.
I think it's going to help people, whether they understand or don't. You know,
That's
again,
okay.
have your chart read. Have
It's
your
okay.
chart read. If you really
For
want to
those
know
who
how
don't,
this is going to impact you,
yes.
get a reading.
Guidingplanet.co. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And those who don't, you know, Jurassic Park is over there. Enjoy your time. Woo! Okay, Alyson, thank you.
Lots of love, honey.
Lots of love to you.